Hey, how's it going? Alex Yu here, and I'm sure you have read the title of the video, and that is, should you wear a mask? Should you wear a mask? Should you wear a mask? And by mask, I mean, mask, face mask. The mask that people have been wearing that, when they go outside in public during a global pandemic, coronavirus, COVID-19. Should you wear a mask? And this topic was discussed a couple months ago, like 2 or 3 months ago, and there was a lot of Western media, social media, talking about should you wear it or not, and they had an answer for us. It wasn't even a definitive answer. They were kind of giving us a, well, it depends type answer, and that really bothered me. That really frustrated me because what people want to hear is a definitive answer. And why isn't there a definitive answer? As a matter of fact, we have these health officials, these experts, these doctors, nurses telling us that, well, I can't give you a straight answer, but I can tell you when you should wear a mask and when you shouldn't and when it's not necessary. Just give us a definitive answer, okay? We're talking about like good journalism here, okay? And I'll give you that, okay? The answer is yes, absolutely, 100%. You should wear a mask during a global pandemic. As you already seen right now, it's April 15th, middle of April, and this has been going on for, coronavirus was first reported back in mid-December, so January, February, March, April. We're in the 4th month now, and now a lot of people are wearing masks. Heck, you can't even get on a public bus without even wearing a mask now. So obviously, they should have been telling us that we should be wearing masks from the very, very beginning, okay? Now, what were they saying from the beginning? Like these health officials, Western media, Western doctors, Western health officials, they were telling us that, well, it depends. You shouldn't wear a mask if you're not sick. Why do you need to wear a mask? You should only wear a mask if you're sick so you don't spread it. Okay? Makes a lot of sense. But what about all the other people out there that might have it coughing and you don't have a mask and they're not wearing masks? So what then? They didn't even have an answer. They didn't have an answer. They said that if you are sick, you should wear a mask. And that's that. Now, the big problem is that people aren't used to that sort of thing. And by people, I'm talking about Western society, North America, Australia. When you go to Asia, and I've been to Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, China, I've been there since like 2001, even 1994, and I didn't really notice it back then. But when I went to Japan for the first time, 2001, I started noticing people wearing masks. And I never questioned it. I just saw people wearing masks, and I wasn't even actually sure why. It just seemed very normal because I saw a lot of people wearing them. And the main reason why is because, well, they're sick. Okay, they're sick. And it's exactly what Western media tells them. Been telling us, if you're sick, wear a mask. These people are sick, they're wearing a mask. But over in Western society, we don't wear masks. We don't wear masks when we're sick. You know what we do? We stay home. Okay, we stay home, and that's what we tell ourselves, or our employers tell us. If you're sick, do not come to work. Okay. Well, it's different over in Asia. It's very competitive, and they have companies, corporations that don't have another person to pick up your slack. Therefore, if you have a minor cough, like just even a mild cold or just something that is really, really minor, that doesn't get you on your deathbed or like bedridden, come to work. You are coming to work, okay? We don't have anybody that's going to pick up your slack. We don't have anybody to cover your shift. You are coming to work because you have an important role for the company. And that's why people wear masks, because they got to go to work, okay? You can't just take days off just because you're sick unless you're really, really sick. I'm talking about hospitalized. But over in Asia, it's different, okay? So that's why when you live in a place like Canada or America or Australia, you will see some Asians wearing surgical masks pre-COVID-19. And if you're wondering why, it's because that's what they're used to. It's a cultural thing, and it's definitely something that should be adopted by Western society and the rest of the world so that we're not spreading germs, okay? Now, well, what about in Western society? If you're sick, you gotta stay home, okay? At least that's what our employers tell us. But you don't understand. There's some people who can't make rent, pay bills, unless they come to work. So what do? They hide their illness. They just come to work while knowing that they're sick, and they're just hoping that they don't spread it, or at least your colleagues are hoping that you don't spread your germs. But they don't know what they don't know. So there's actually a lot of people, who got bills to pay, who have to pay, the electricity bill and the rent. Like, they are coming to work sick, and they are not telling anybody about it. It's because, well, they can't afford to stay home, and that's the reality of it. And that's why people, like Western society, a lot of people aren't wearing masks, and it's all because of that. Okay, so that's why it's definitely a cultural thing, and that's why I want to tell you straight up that should you wear a mask? Absolutely. Okay, Asia got it right the first time. I've been seeing them wear masks from the very, very beginning when I started, when I visited all those different countries. I haven't visited all of Asia, but I'm just saying, like, for Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, China, I see people wearing masks all the time. Now, here's the thing. There are a lot of people who aren't sick who still wear masks. And there's a reason for that, obviously, like profession, nurses, doctors. But besides that, how about nail salon workers? Okay, you ever been to an Asian nail salon? They wear masks when they do your nails. I go to my barber and she wears a surgical mask when she cuts my hair, or anybody's hair. She always wears a surgical mask. I thought that was kind of strange, but I got used to it, and now it's a thing. And I totally respect her for that, because she doesn't want to spread germs, because we're obviously in very close contact with each other. Who else wears masks? People who work with a lot of dust are wearing N95 masks. Also, high altitude training. People who are doing high altitude training, they wear masks so that they can train their lungs, train their breathing, because it's harder to take in oxygen when it's being covered like that. Remember when forest fires were going on? That happens like every other summer, or every summer these days, because of global warming. People were wearing N95 masks to block out that particulate matter from going into their lungs. So there's a lot of reasons why people wear masks for, pre-COVID-19. And also, there's people who even wear masks just to stay warm. Because when you have a mask on during a cold, dry winter weather, wearing a mask keeps you warm. It's the same thing as wearing a balaclava or a scarf over your nose and mouth. So it's the same concept. So I don't know, I don't really understand all this hostility and negativity towards, racism towards Asians who are wearing masks, because we're just trying to protect each other. We're trying to protect you. People who are wearing masks are trying to protect you from getting it. With COVID-19 going on, the only way to really stay safe is to assume every other person has it. Okay, and that's a fact. You should go with that. Every other person has it. Okay, so therefore, you should wear a mask, because you want to prevent it from spreading. Okay, you have it, I have it, we all have it. Okay, so let's just prevent it from getting worse, so that it goes to everybody else. Now, I will say that if we live in a society where there's a shortage of masks, which there is, the very first two groups of people that should have first priority with getting these masks are frontline workers, nurses, doctors, people who work in hospitals, because they're surrounded with germs and disease and bacteria all around, okay? And they're exposed to it like all the time. That's why they should have it first, as well as immunocompromised people. And by immunocompromised people, I mean people with compromised immune systems, people with weaker immune systems. They should have priority to get access to masks first, not the general public. There's a shortage of masks right now, so therefore they should just straight up go to them first, because they're the ones that are surrounded by disease and germs and bacteria, life-threatening viruses, not you. When you go to supermarket, the probability of getting something is pretty low if you are social distancing and not touching your face after you've touched other things, okay? So you're going to be all right, okay? Now, people are saying that, okay, well, it's airborne, okay? Okay, I think you need to understand what airborne really means. Airborne doesn't mean it's in the air and it's in the atmosphere. Airborne just means when someone sneezes and when someone coughs, it's still out there, which is absolutely true, because when you cough, there are something called droplets. And I'm not just talking about the things that you can see, okay, the things that go bloop, bloop, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that just goes out there. And I saw a video which is crazy. They conducted a test, okay, which they put this guy in a room and he sneezed and it just went everywhere. It was one hell of a sneeze, okay. So now I want to talk about this, okay. So I have here in front of me a shield. This is actually just a lid to some Tupperware. Now, if I sneeze, my droplets will go on this and also all around. Now, if it's closer to me, right here, right up to my face, if I sneeze, most likely it'll catch a lot of it because it is right there. It will go left and right, but the fact is that there will be a huge amount of sneeze and boogers and stuff like that, droplets, if you will, here. Now, on the other hand, if I wear this, it's all, most of it, maybe I'll say a good 90%, don't quote me on that, it'll be all there. It'll be all here, okay? So that's why we should wear masks, okay? Now, what about the people who have it and they're not wearing masks? You should wear a mask because of those people, because anything is better than nothing, okay? Always remember that. Anything is better than nothing. Not wearing a mask is like, you're totally vulnerable. Okay, imagine being surrounded by a whole bunch of sick people. They're coughing everywhere and you have nothing. You'd want to go like this, okay? So anything is better than nothing. And I've seen it, okay? I was at Costco the other day and I saw a man and a woman. They didn't buy any masks. They didn't know where to buy them. So you know what she did? She wore a scarf, okay? She wore a scarf and the other guy was just going like this, okay? And I totally respect it because they're just trying to protect themselves. And, back in January, I was making fun of people wearing like these big Polaris water jug bottles over their head. I was making fun of that, but now I'm seeing more of that, and not just from Asian people. I'm talking about non-Asian people doing whatever they can to protect themselves because this is no joke, okay? I'm not saying you should do that, but definitely do find a more conventional way of protecting yourself. Now, I'd like to take this moment right here to show you guys what I have. Okay, so this is my little kit. Okay, in case things get out of hand. Okay, so this is stuff that I haven't really used yet, but I am using a cloth mask right now. But I do have some surgical masks. Okay, this is just backup. Okay, I do have an N95 mask which I haven't used yet. I just have one. I intend to get some more. Okay, now this stuff, this is the real deal. Okay, this will protect you from a lot of things. The thing is that if you really want N95 masks to work effectively, they need to be professionally fitted. This will cost a little bit of money, and then I don't know how the test works, but I think they put you in a room and then someone farts or something. I'm just kidding. I think they spray some aspartame or something like that, and then if you can smell it, then it doesn't work. Then they have to readjust it. They keep on readjusting it until you don't smell anything, in which case that you'll have a hard time breathing, because these are actually already hard enough to breathe through. Okay, the other thing I have is, of course, I have a P100, which is basically a respirator with the extra cartridges. These are extra cartridges. These things are hard to find now at a good price, at original price. You just can't find them. So I bought these right when I heard about coronavirus, and then I just made sure I stocked up. Now these are indirect ventilated goggles. Okay, nothing will get through these. Okay, if you want to pick up goggles, you want to get something with indirect ventilation. Okay, so that's what I have. But what I'm using right now is this. This is a cloth mask with these extra replaceable filters. They look like this, okay? This is what the filter looks like, okay? So when I sanitize my mask, and by sanitize my mask, I mean washing it, or I spray an alcohol-based spray on it and then let it dry in the sun, I actually take the filter out and then I spray it, okay? And then, and then I let it dry in the sun, and then it's all good, and I could reuse it again. I think these are great because I can replace it with these filters here. I bought this on Amazon. I think it's fantastic. While one's drying, I'll wear another one, okay? But what happens when I run out of filters? Use HEPA filters. HEPA filters you can buy by the sheet, and you can cut them to fit, okay? HEPA filters is what is used you know those air purifiers? They use HEPA filters, and viruses and bacteria. They claim that they block 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. You can use that, Okay, so there's a lot of things you can do, but I'll tell you, doing something is better than doing nothing. Okay, and that is why you should wear a mask. Now, I talked for 15 minutes talking about this, but the fact is that there has been this debate before, and I think that the health officials didn't want to tell us this. You know, the idea of everybody wearing masks, they didn't want to give us that suggestion because they don't know about it. They're Western health officials, not Asia, Western, North America. And they're not used to the fact about people going out in public wearing surgical masks. They tell people that if you're sick, stay home. And if they're speaking on the media, Western media, if they say that everybody should wear masks, imagine what will happen. The doctors and nurses won't have any, which is what has happened. They don't have enough, and they still don't have enough. So imagine if they said that from the very, very beginning. Panic creates panic. Everybody will be panic buying masks, and then you see what happens. They are being scalped for ridiculous prices, and not everybody has access to them. The people who need them, the immunocompromised people and the nurses, the frontline workers, they don't have them. So that's the problem with the media telling people that you should wear masks. But the fact is that you should be wearing a mask. It's a global pandemic. It's airborne. It's everywhere. You're around crowded areas, okay? And by crowded areas, I mean the supermarkets, okay? So yeah, you should wear a mask. But I'm just going to remind you that frontline workers and immunocompromised people need it first. The probability of you catching it is much lower, way lower, astronomically compared to them, unless you're going to parties, crowded places, events, which there shouldn't be any going on right now, okay? But there were Mardi Gras, spring break, a lot of stupid stuff going on, okay? So there you have it. Anyways, if you can get access to the mask, wear it. But don't forget about the frontline workers. They're the ones that need it first, okay? Anyways, that's all I got to say in this video. Thank you for hearing me out. It took a little bit longer than I intended, but I just wanted to get it out there because that was really frustrating. What Western media was telling us and Western health officials were telling us was very, very frustrating, and they didn't tell us what we wanted to hear to protect us, okay? So I'm telling you right now, get yourself a mask, okay? Anyways, my name is Alex. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. #vlogging with Alex Yu. Click that like button and subscribe if you have YouTube, and see you later.